Hey kinfolk, Brian with the Bearded Axe, and today we're going to talk about leading by example, or being the change you would like to see. In our last discussion, my last opinion about how much I hated magic, somebody made a very valid point, is to lead by example. If I want to see a change, then maybe I should be the one to take ownership of the problem and do something about it. So before I get into those thoughts, I'm going to just tell you guys about my support pages, my Ko-Fi, my Patreon, my Etsy. All of those go towards helping the channel and helping support the camera gear and the time that I put into it. And if you think it's helpful and entertaining in any way, then consider throwing me a few dollars that way or buying some stuff from my Etsy. It's all very much appreciated. And of course, if you can't afford any of that stuff, then of course, head on over to that like, that sub, and that send a comment. All of that stuff, share my stuff. All of that goes a long way, and it's very much appreciated. Thank you. So on to the discussion. So I just reminded me of this story about these elder elephants, and that being these two very young elephants. They're like babies, and they were abandoned, or their mother was sick and died, something like that. And they needed to have some sort of mentorship to bring them up. So they took these elephants into captivity and raised them and trained them to survive on their own, get food and water, all these other things, and then released them back into the wild. Well, some months pass, and they had started finding all these rhinos with their chests caved in. Crazy stuff. And they were wondering why. And eventually they tracked down these younger elephants in that same area, and they were seeing these younger elephants push over these rhinos and sit on their chests and crush them. And they theorized that maybe potentially it's a territorial issue, or there's they just were bored and they wanted to do something exciting like that. Either case, they needed to figure out the problem. The problem that they had come up with the solution was that they were going to get an older elephant from another area and transplant them to these younger elephants that were just out of control. And so just like overnight, these rhinos stopped being killed, and they started seeing some real improvement in these younger elephants. And really, that elder elephant just came in and helped guide these younger elephants into focusing their energies and their attitudes towards something much more productive and helpful. And that just helped me understand at the time where my place was as a veteran and things like that. And maybe I need to be an elder elephant to be the change that I want to see, take ownership of the problem, and do something about what the little issues that I see within the hobby and within my groups and whatnot, is to really spearhead the problem. And so I came up with 4 ways that you could do, or I could do. Now I'm not just saying you guys, me too, as I could send a word of encouragement every once in a while when you see real effort and real time, energy is put into something. Even if it's a little bit, if that's all they can muster throughout the week or throughout the month or whatever, and then you just make sure you send them that word of encouragement. And it'll help go it can go a long way. If somebody's dealing with a lot of anxiety or depression, that could really help them out and can keep moving them towards an area where they can keep putting in the effort and the time into making something really cool. And so they'll enjoy their hobby more, and other people will enjoy it, seeing what they make. And it's something that we could all do, is just sending in a word of encouragement. Second one, this is also pretty easy too. Sometimes we grow in the midsection, or in other areas where things don't fit as well anymore, or like say drastic weight loss or things like that, where our characters are dead or we're tired and we want to still use the gear into the game. So one thing you could do is 2 things you can do with those things. I guess you could loan them out till certain characters or people get their own gear underneath their own feet, and they get the skill sets they need to make their own stuff. That's a good way of doing it. The other thing is maybe just selling it or just giving it to them. But that's also problematic in a way, and I'll talk about that at the end of the video here. But that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is have just a spare set all the time, like just in case you need it. Like you got your kit just ended up getting soiled and whatnot, you can have a spare set for you, for your guildmates, for your clansmen, or whatever unit that you belong to. That could go a long way to helping things out. And just having like a spare set that people can borrow at any moment is also a very valid thing. It's very hospitable and something that we should all strive for. And again, financial situations, I completely understand, but it's something that we could all be working towards. What was it? The workshops and mentorship and things like that. And you can kind of take on a younger or newer player and saying, hey, I'm going to organize a workshop, so all you new guys, I'm going to buy the materials and we can make something like a tunic or what have you. So they learn some skills and they have something to have at the end of whatever that workshop is. And it's used very successfully in many LARPs, SCA, Amtgard, you name it. I've seen it done, and people can definitely go about doing it again and again and again. And just every so often we put on a workshop for newer players and really welcoming them into the hobby. So they'll enjoy it more and we can enjoy it more because they're putting more effort into it, and we can really appreciate everybody's work into making this a really cool hobby. The last thing you can do is brain fart. Anyway, so the issue is that I'm having with all of these things is that you're making these things more accessible, but there's a problem with it in the sense that something that's freely given has no value. And I'm wondering how you guys feel about that, and like how we can get a bit more engagement from people to where they put some skin in the game. They'll value it more. They worked for it. They paid money into it. It's something that's valuable to them. You know, if they have something they can borrow indefinitely or something that's just freely given, then it's less valuable. Well, at least less valuable than, say, somebody that had put in, 10 hours just to make a tunic. I know. That's someone like me that takes a long time just to make a simple tunic. But I valued it because I put in a lot of time and effort into it. And likewise, how can we get newer players or younger players back into this hobby where we can really get them to value the things that we're helping them with, and hopefully they can continue on that tradition of helping other people into the hobby with what they have learned previously and what they've developed throughout their entire career or their hobby, their time in the hobby. So that's basically in a nutshell. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down. Let me know your thoughts because they're valuable and they're really helpful, and I think everybody's learning something from these opinion pieces. So yeah, so go ahead and do that, and that's all I got for you today, nerds. I'm going to send you home with a be helpful, be humble, and be honorable. Thanks for watching.